This is not the same Arsenal, don't believe me. Take a look at this. Arsenal are top of the Premier League, 7 points clear of Manchester City in one of the most competitive Premier League seasons we've seen in years. And in the UEFA Champions League, the Gunners are not just competing, they are leading the competition. But that's only the beginning. Under Mikel Arteta, Arsenal have won 7 consecutive Champions League matches for the first time in their history. Among English clubs, only Manchester City have ever put together a longer winning run in the competition. Even more impressive, Arsenal have now won all 11 of their Champions League group stage matches since their 1-0 defeat to Inter back in November 2024. That kind of consistency at elite European level is no accident. Arteta hasn't just built a strong team, he has built the most complete and best drilled side in Europe. Set pieces have become a weapon of mass destruction. Arsenal have scored 25 goals from set pieces in all competitions this season, the highest total across Europe's top 5 leagues. In the Carabao Cup against Chelsea, they scored their 18th corner goal of the 2025-26 season. Then Inter Milan suffered goal number 19 from a corner. No team in modern football is this dominant from dead ball situations. Defensively, Arsenal are on another level. They have conceded just 14 goals in 22 Premier League matches and only 2 goals in 7 Champions League games. That is not just good defending, that is elite, historical level control. This is the best defensive team in the world right now. And it's not just the system. The squad is terrifying. At the back, David Raya, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, and Martin Zubimendi. In attack, Gabriel Jesus, Victor Gyökeres, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and Leandro Trossard. Power, pace, intelligence and depth, everywhere you look. This Arsenal are favourites to win the Premier League. And yes, they are genuine favourites to win the Champions League too. This is not the same Arsenal. And Europe is starting to realise it. Arteta has done one of the most impactful coaching jobs in European football. Jose Mourinho once said his greatest achievement was finishing second in the Premier League with Manchester United. But what Arteta has done at Arsenal is on a completely different level. It doesn't even compare. 6 years on, Mikel Arteta is in charge of a totally different Arsenal, both on and off the pitch. The timing was brutal. Arteta officially took over on December 20th, 2019, and just 24 hours later, he watched his new team from the stands as they played out a lifeless 0-0 draw at Goodison Park. That was the reality he inherited. Go back 6 years, and Arsenal were drifting. A mid-table club with no clear identity, damaged by Unai Emery's failed spell, disconnected from the fans, and unsure of who they were supposed to be. A big club going nowhere. Arteta himself has admitted he walked into a difficult stage of the club's history. And what makes his rise even more impressive is that it wasn't luck. This was planning, patience, and conviction. As Napoleon would say, Arteta wasn't a lucky general, he was a good one. In almost any other era, Arsenal would already have a league title under him. They have finished second 3 times. But Arteta has been fighting against Pep Guardiola, arguably the greatest manager of all time, and Manchester City, possibly the best team the Premier League has ever seen. Look at the numbers. In the 2023-2024 season, Arsenal finished with 89 points. That's just 1 point fewer than the Invincibles. It's the second highest points total in the club's entire history. In a normal season, that wins you the league. City beat them by just 2 points. When Arteta took the job, even he didn't know how it would end. This was his first senior managerial role. He was stepping out of Guardiola's shadow, taking charge of a broken giant still trying to recover from the post-Wenger years. What followed was not just improvement, it was a revolution. One of the most impressive rebuilds English football has ever seen. And this is where the story really gets serious. Arsenal fans used to fight each other. The atmosphere was toxic. The boardroom was unstable. And the dressing room was even worse.
Careful, Laka, careful! Speak normally. Hey.
Internal fights, inflated egos, big names not performing when it mattered. Just look at where Arsenal were back then. That day at Everton, the back four was Callum Chambers, David Luiz, Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Bukayo Saka playing at left back. With all due respect to those players, that single image shows how far this club has travelled. Arsenal today is unrecognisable from that version. Arteta won the FA Cup in his first season, and that trophy arguably saved him, because the next 2 full seasons were chaotic. Results were inconsistent.
Good dummy. Morpay goes again. Oh, and Morpay...
Performances were questioned. Pressure was constant. If full crowds had been inside the stadium when Arsenal lost at home to Burnley in December 2020, arguably the lowest point of Arteta's reign, there is a real chance he would not have survived. But the club stood firm, and that decision should be a warning to everyone else. Real transformation takes time. You are fooling yourself if you think Mikel Arteta can be anything other than intense. He lives football. He demands standards.
Believe in yourself. I do. You are really good. The last thing I want to do, me as a coach, is blame any of you in difficult moments. My responsibility, I take the shit. Let's go.
But those who work closely with him say he has grown massively in man management. Early on, the criticism was that he lacked humility and came across as arrogant. Arteta went further than anyone expected. Yes, he was ruthless in sending away Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but that was about principles, about rules. Not even the biggest star was allowed to break discipline. That decision changed the culture of the club forever.
Nowhere near. And I'm not criticizing your attitude, but attitude is not enough. Courage is not enough, to run is not enough. You have to have much more than that, and it's nowhere near. You agree with me, guys? Yeah?
He has also recovered from pain that would have broken others. Twice Arsenal looked ready to win the Premier League, and twice Manchester City ripped it away without mercy.
A really sad day, a lot of difficult emotions. Obviously, we lost the game. We lost the championship after 10.5 months fighting for it.
Instead of collapsing, Arteta rebuilt again. What followed is staggering. Arsenal have become the best defensive team in 3 consecutive Premier League seasons, the most dangerous team from set pieces. And right now, arguably the most complete team in Europe. Off the pitch, the ambition has matched the ideas. The club backed him aggressively. Huge spending, big decisions. Victor Gyökeres, Martin Zubimendi. When it looked finished, they added Eberechi Eze and Piero Hincapié. No one can accuse the board of failing to support their manager, but with that backing comes expectation. This season, Arteta is expected to win something big, and the pressure is real.
I accept losing, guys. I accept losing. I don't accept these fucking standards. I'm telling you, I don't accept them. I don't accept them, these standards. It's nowhere near. Nowhere near. And I'm not criticizing your attitude, but attitude is not enough. Courage is not enough, to run is not enough. You have to have much more than that, and it's nowhere near. You agree with me, guys?
The difference is simple. This Arsenal don't hide from pressure. They thrive on it. There is still a long way to go in both the Premier League and the UEFA Champions League this season. But Arsenal remain the clear favourites to lift the trophy and finally end their 22-year wait to be champions of England once again. What this Arsenal are doing is not normal. Pay close attention. Arteta's side are now 12 matches unbeaten. And when they face big teams, something changes. This team levels up. The results speak for themselves. A 1-0 win away at Manchester United at Old Trafford. A hard-fought 1-1 draw against their old nightmare Manchester City. At the Emirates. A brutal 4-0 demolition of Atletico Madrid. Insert a 4-1 statement win over Tottenham. A commanding 3-1 victory over Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Another 4-1 dismantling of Aston Villa. A 3-2 win against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final. And a 3-1 win over Inter Milan. What does that tell us? This Arsenal do not shrink against elite opposition. They become stronger, more solid, more ruthless. As we approach the end of January, the Gunners sit 7 points clear of Manchester City and Aston Villa after 22 matches played, having led the table after every round of fixtures since early October. Yes, Arsenal missed the chance to extend that lead after 2 dull 0-0 draws against Liverpool and Nottingham Forest in their most recent league games, but the advantage remains clear. Arteta's team have won more league matches than anyone else this season, with 15 victories, and they boast the second highest goal tally in the division with 40 goals, just 5 fewer than City. And here is the key part. This dominance is being built on an explosive midfield and a devastating attack. Take a look at this. In possession, Arteta's Arsenal have stayed true to the principles that defined their build-up last season. with Martin Ødegaard regularly dropping deeper to help organise the first phase of play. A perfect example came against Aston Villa. Pay close attention to this moment. Ødegaard sprinted almost from the halfway line to anticipate and recover the ball. He then drove forward with purpose, carrying possession towards the box, completely in control of the tempo. He waited, read the movement of his teammates, and when Zubimendi made the run, Ødegaard threaded a perfectly weighted through ball between the defence and the goalkeeper, right into the Zubimendi path for a stunning finish. That single action captures everything Arsenal's midfield leader brings to this team: intensity, intelligence, timing, and execution. Arsenal's shape in possession is flexible and adapts to the opponent and available personnel. At times it looks like a 4-3-3, with Ødegaard and Declan Rice supporting Martin Zubimendi. In other moments it becomes a 4-2 base, or even a 3-2-4-1, with Riccardo Calafiori stepping inside to strengthen the midfield. There is no fixed structure, only principles. This tactical flexibility in midfield has made Arsenal far more unpredictable, and one of the biggest beneficiaries has been Declan Rice. Mikel Arteta has openly hailed Rice as one of the best midfielders in the world, and this season is showing exactly why. Arsenal always knew Declan Rice was not a player you box into a single role when they signed him from West Ham United in the summer of 2023. In his first 6 months in North London, he spent large spells playing as a centre-back, learning the build-up from deep and adding composure to the first phase. In the second half of that debut season, he evolved into a true box-to-box midfielder, covering huge ground and driving Arsenal forward. By January 2024, Rice had also become Arsenal's main set-piece taker. At first, that role brought assists. Then came the moment that announced his full arrival on the elite stage: 2 outrageous free-kick goals against Real Madrid. From that point on, his evolution accelerated. That growth has continued in every part of his game. His ball carrying has become more aggressive and more confident, and the arrival of Martin Zubimendi has unlocked even more freedom for him. With a specialist organiser behind him, Rice is now able to attack different spaces depending on the game state. We have seen it all season. Against Bournemouth, he arrived through the centre to score, timing his run perfectly. Against Bayern Munich, he was everywhere, popping up on both sides of the pitch, dictating transitions, and almost scoring a sensational goal after picking up the ball near the left touchline in his own half, bursting forward with frightening speed, driving all the way into the box, and firing a shot that only a world-class save from Manuel Neuer could stop. That is the point. Rice is no longer just a defensive midfielder. He is a complete dominant force, empowered by Arteta's system and Arsenal's tactical flexibility. And when a player like Declan Rice is allowed to roam, adapt and attack space like that, Arsenal become almost impossible to read. Ball progression across the pitch has become even more dynamic this season. The summer arrivals of Zubimendi and Eberechi Eze have added fluidity, allowing Arsenal to shift angles quickly and manipulate defensive blocks. A clear example came in the 2-0 away win against West Ham in October. Calafiori initially positioned himself centrally to form a box midfield, then drifted into the right half space to overload that zone. This movement dragged Mateus Fernandes away from Ødegaard and forced Maximilian Kilman to step higher than he wanted. That single chain reaction opened the lane for Declan Rice to fire a direct pass into Bukayo Saka's run in behind. Saka scored, although it was ruled marginally offside, but the mechanism was devastating. This season, Arsenal have leaned more into direct balls into the channels, using their athletic midfield to strike before opponents can settle into a low block. The goal by Victor Gyökeres against Inter Milan is a perfect illustration. After an Inter corner, Gabriel Martinelli collected the ball on the left and, with a stunning outside of the boot pass from deep, sent Gyökeres into a foot race with the last defender. Gyökeres battled, won the duel by inches, and when Eze arrived to create a 2 versus 2, the move almost broke down. Almost. The ball fell back to Gyökeres on the edge of the box, and with pure aggression, he smashed it home. That entire sequence shows how lethal Arsenal are when they go direct, powered by individual quality and collective understanding. Even when Arteta deploys his dynamic 3-2-4-1 in the progression phase, the core idea remains unchanged: reach the final third through the wings. Arsenal continue to funnel most of their entries into wide areas, with 34% down the right and 26% down the left, while slightly increasing central access compared to last season. From there, it is all about combinations and individual brilliance. Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, and Noni Madueke are given license to decide games in 1 versus 1 situations, especially from the right half space. Even with Ødegaard missing several matches through injury, Arsenal have still created 29% of their open play chances from that zone in the Premier League this season. That tells you everything about how clear, repeatable and dangerous Arteta's attacking structure has become. When it comes to chaos, I want to be the best. When it comes to positional attack, the best. When it comes to low blocks, the best, Arteta said in October. That's the hunger to keep finding new ways to grow your team, to evolve it, and to give players more tools to be unpredictable, and above all, more efficient. That quote perfectly explains what Arsenal have become this season. One of the biggest changes in their game with the ball has been a clear rise in verticality. Direct balls into the channels are now a real weapon, but this desire to speed up attacks is not limited to long possession phases. Arsenal are now far more willing to hurt teams in transition. A direct attack is defined as a move that starts in a team's own half and ends with either a shot or a touch inside the opposition box within 15 seconds. In simple terms, a counter-attack. This season, Arsenal are producing around 3 direct attacks per 90 minutes in the Premier League, their highest rate since Arteta took charge back in December 2019. And to finish these actions, Arsenal now have 3 absolute beasts up front: Victor Gyökeres, Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Martinelli. The Swedish striker is devastating in open space. Since his Sporting days, he has caused serious damage to Premier League teams with these runs, and his goal against Manchester City is the perfect example. Arteta is fully aware of this strength and has actively tried to exploit it, as we saw against Leeds and Nottingham Forest.
Ball over the top, Eze got time, pulls it across.
Gyökeres is now appearing more often on the scoresheet, growing in confidence with every game. At the same time, Gabriel Jesus has clearly benefited from his return. He is desperate to compete for the starting spot, and his comeback has been extremely encouraging. Jesus gives Arteta exactly what he wants. Positional attacks that end in goals, like his first goal against Inter. High-speed transitions, like his goal against Aston Villa. Even set pieces, where he scored again against Inter. For the first time in years, Arteta has 2 elite strikers with goals, pushing each other every single week. And if there is one pure symbol of vertical chaos in this Arsenal side, it is Gabriel Martinelli. His goals against City and Bayern Munich say everything about what he brings when space opens up. At the same time, Arsenal have not lost their defensive control. They have conceded the 3rd fewest direct attacks in the Premier League this season, with 43. So while they have embraced verticality, the foundation of control remains intact. Their organisation in possession creates a strong rest defence, meaning that when they lose the ball, they are already positioned to counter-press and stop transitions, or even turn them back in their favour. Out of possession, another key tweak has been who supports the centre forward when pressing the goalkeeper and centre backs. In previous seasons, this role often belonged to Ødegaard stepping up from midfield. This season it has mainly been Bukayo Saka, starting narrow and jumping onto the opposition's left centre back. As a result, the aggressive forward jump now comes from Jurriën Timber down the right side rather than centre backs stepping into midfield. In medium and low blocks, Arsenal have stayed true to the principles that made them one of the best defensive teams in the world. They still defend in a compact 4-4-2, funneling opponents wide where wingers like Saka, Martinelli, Trossard or Madueke support the fullbacks and shut down space. In 2025-2026, Arsenal have added layers to their identity. Small adjustments, more depth, and smarter rotation. The summer signings have expanded Arteta's tactical toolbox and, crucially, reduced the risk of burning out his star players. Being the best defence in Europe and the best team from set pieces already made Arsenal contenders everywhere. Now with this added attacking power and vertical threat, Arteta is no longer just competing, he is genuinely hunting titles.